Ever wondered how empires die? Not through invasion, not through war. They die by numbers, silent, invisible, merciless. Spain had the silver. The Ottomans had the empire. Japan had the technology. And America has the debt. History doesn't repeat. It rhymes. Trillion by trillion. And right now, the United States is reading from the same script that destroyed every empire before it. This is the untold story of the debt-death spiral, a pattern that has consumed three great powers across 5 centuries. Each believed they were exceptional. Each believed they could outsmart the math, and each fell the exact same way. Today, the U.S. stands at stage 5 of that same 7-step collapse. You're about to see how history's most powerful nations borrowed themselves to death and why America is next. Every collapse begins with confidence, a booming economy, expanding borders, endless optimism. Then comes the temptation. Why not borrow? Why not grow faster? Debt begins as a tool. It ends as a trap. From 1500s Europe to the 1990s Tokyo, the story never changes. Borrow, spend, stagnate, collapse. The spiral always starts with victory and ends with ruin. Spain, silver and bankruptcy. It's 1500. Spain rules half the known world. From Mexico to Manila, silver flows like rivers. The Potosi mines in Bolivia pour out 45,000 tons of pure wealth. King Charles V builds armies across continents, France, Italy, the Ottomans, the Americas. He funds everything with loans, backed by that endless stream of silver. For decades it works, until it doesn't. By the time his son, Philip II, inherits the throne, Spain owes 36 million ducats, billions today. Interest alone devours 70% of the crown's revenue. In 1557, Spain defaults. The richest empire in the world, bankrupt. 4 more defaults follow in just 40 years. Every time the bankers forgive. Every time the king borrows again. Until Spain's currency collapses, its trade dies, and the Silver Empire turns into a hollow shell. By 1650, Spain is finished, a walking corpse of a superpower. The lesson: infinite wealth means nothing if you spend more than you earn. The Ottoman Empire, modernization and debt slavery. Jump to the 1800s. The Ottoman Empire, 6 centuries old, stretching from Vienna to Yemen. Powerful, proud, but aging. To survive, they borrow. From Europe, railroads, telegraphs, armies, the promise of modernization. But progress costs money the empire doesn't have. By 1875, half their income goes to debt service. They borrow new money to pay old loans. The Ponzi phase begins. Then comes the crash. The Ottomans default, and their creditors, Britain, France, Germany, take control. In 1881, the Ottoman Public Debt Administration is created. Foreign bankers now collect Ottoman taxes. They own the ports, the customs, even the salt mines. The empire becomes a debt colony, technically sovereign, economically enslaved. Within 40 years, it's gone, dissolved after World War I, buried under foreign debt and internal decay. Japan, the bubble that never recovered. Fast forward to 1990. Japan is the future. Sony owns Hollywood. Mitsubishi owns Rockefeller Center. Economists predict Japan will surpass America within a decade. Then, the bubble bursts. Real estate crashes. The Nikkei falls 80%. Banks hide their bad loans. The government borrows to stimulate. It never works. By 2000, Japan's debt hits 128% of GDP. By 2010, 200%. Today, 264%.
How do they survive? By printing. The Bank of Japan buys the government's debt with new money, a trick that keeps interest near zero but kills growth. Wages flat for 35 years. Population shrinking. An entire generation lost to stagnation. Japan didn't explode like Spain or the Ottomans. It just froze. A slow-motion collapse. Proof that printing money delays the fall, but never prevents it. Every empire thought it was different. Spain had silver. The Ottomans had allies. Japan had control of its own currency. They all believed the same lie. We can manage the debt, but debt isn't managed. It's fed until it devours you. The irony? The same economists who once mocked Spain and the Ottomans now say, America's debt is fine. The dollar is strong. They said that about every empire, right before it collapsed. History textbooks don't call it debt suicide. They call it decline, transition, changing world orders. But behind the polite words was the same brutal truth. They went broke. Leaders never admit it. They print money, shift blame, and promise growth next year. The people believe until the currency burns or the creditors take control. Every empire rewrites its downfall to look inevitable, not self-inflicted, until now. And here we are, 2025, the United States. $36 trillion in debt, paying $1.1 trillion a year just in interest, borrowing $2 trillion more every year just to stay afloat. This isn't heading toward a debt spiral. We're already inside it. Stage 1, borrowed to expand, done. Stage 2, growth slows, spending doesn't. Done. Stage 3, borrow to pay old debt. Done. Stage 4, interest becomes unsustainable. Happening now. Stage 5, confidence breaks. It's starting. China and Russia are dumping U.S. bonds. The BRICS nations are building alternatives to the dollar. The world is preparing for the end of American solvency. Quietly, carefully, inevitably. And when that moment comes, when confidence finally snaps, the collapse won't be gradual. It will be sudden, violent, global. Because this time, the entire world runs on American debt. When the dollar falls, everything falls with it. 3 empires, 3 collapses. 1 pattern. Spain defaulted 4 times. The Ottomans lost their empire. Japan lost its future. And America still believes it's different. But math doesn't care about patriotism. Debt doesn't care about flags. History doesn't care about exceptionalism. The numbers always win, and the pattern, the same 7 stages that destroyed every empire before, is already unfolding. The only question left is how much time we have. If this opened your eyes, subscribe, because when the next stage hits, when the debt crisis becomes undeniable, you'll want to understand what happened and why. The answers aren't hidden in the future. They're written in the past. And history is whispering the same warning again.